जन्म मरण में साइयो, जन्म मरण में साइयो।
हरि ओम नमः शिवाय, हरि ओम नमः शिवाय, हरि ओम नमः शिवाय, हरि ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय। शिव शिव शंकर हर परमेश्वर, शिव शंकर हर परमेश्वर, साईश्वराय साईश्वराय नमः। शिव शिव शंकर हर परमेश्वर, साईश्वराय, शिव शिव शंकर हर परमेश्वर, साईश्वराय नमः। शिव शिव शंकर हर परमेश्वर, साईश्वराय नमः।
शिव शिव शंकर हर परमेश्वर,
हरि ओम नमः शिवाय, हरि ओम नमः शिवाय, हरि ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय। शिव शिव शंकर हर परमेश्वर, साईश्वराय नमः। शिव शिव शंकर साईश्वराय नमः।
शिव शिव शंकर हर परमेश्वर, शिव शिव शंकर हर परमेश्वर, साईश्वराय नमः।
ओम नमः शिवाय।
सर्वधर्म प्रिय सौराष्ट्र महावीर तुम हो, विश्वरूप तुम हो, विश्वरूप तुम हो, साई विश्वरूप तुम हो, सर्वधर्म प्रिय देवा, सत्य साई देवा।
At the divine lotus feet of our Baba, we welcome you all to the 37th Samarpan program held at Sivam. With Swami's grace and blessings, we could complete 36 Samarpan programs in this very august Sivam lawns. Over the 3-year tenure of Samarpan program, we had distinguished speakers who could share their intimate physical divine experiences with Swami. Every fourth Sunday of the month, we were all transported to Swami's presence, filling our hearts with nectarine experiences of divine proximity. Today, the 37th Samarpan program will be unleashed by none other than our All India President of Sri Sathya Sai Seva organizations, Sri Nimish Pandya, sir. Before we go further, I would request to do Jyoti Prajwalana on this occasion by Sri Nimish Pandya, sir. I will also request Sri Ramchandra Reddy, sir, to come onto the dais. I request Sri Chelam Garu, the State President of Andhra and Telangana, to come onto the stage. May I request Madam Geeta Reddy, Madam, to please come onto the stage to do Jyoti Prajwalana on this 37th Samarpan program. Sai Ram.
सत्यमया तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमया मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमया शांति शांति शांति.
Request the esteemed dignitaries to be seated. Offering our all collected humble salutations at the Divine Lotus feet, we would now introduce the speaker of the day. Sri Nimish Pandya, lovingly called by the young and the old across India and overseas as Nimish Bhai, is a corporate lawyer heading the legal firm Pandya and Company, Mumbai. He is on the board of several leading corporations in India. An eloquent and versatile speaker on topics ranging from law to spirituality, he has delivered many keynote addresses in forums in India and abroad. For over 35 years, Sri Nimish Pandya has coordinated many educational programs in India, the core being the Sri Sathya Sai Bal Vikas program and Sri Sathya Sai schools. He is also the trustee of Sri Sathya Sai Trust, Maharashtra. A versatile actor, bubbling with vibrant divine energy, Sri Nimish Pandya has directed several value-based ballets and plays for children and the youth that were performed in the divine presence, especially during the festival of Ashadi Ekadashi in Prashant Nilayam. His life partner was chosen by Bhagwan himself, Srimati Kamala Pandya, who supports in all his endeavors to spread the message of love as Deputy National Coordinator, Sri Sathya Sai Bal Vikas. Sri Nimish Pandya is presently the All India President of Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organizations, India. I would now request Sri Nimish Pandya sir to come and address all of us. Sai Ram. Nimish sir to hand over, please hand over the bouquet to Nimish sir. To be offered to Swami.
Om Sri Sai Ram. Offering my most humble salutations at the lotus feet of our beloved Master, Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. On behalf of all present here, I seek his blessings that this very auspicious day, when the third anniversary of Samarpan in Sivam is happening, may he let all of us experience his omnipresence here in this beautiful divine abode of Bhagwan. I must confess, Naku Telugu Radu. It's been very unfortunate that despite being in association with Bhagwan and despite all the efforts, we could pick up very little and very few words of Telugu. The two being very distinct to know whether Bhagwan was happy with you or not, Bangaru or Dunnapota. with two clear indications whether you're on the right path or the wrong path. Samarpan traditionally has now become the hallmark of people who come on the dais and are expected to share their experiences in the physical form of Bhagwan, in their interactions, and how it has transformed. But I must confess today, and I tell and share, that our Lord and Master Bhagwan is such a unique avatar that the saga of Samarpan will keep on going for thousands of years, because each one who came in his contact is a repository, is a reservoir of experiences that are innumerable. We have recorded one Ramayana, one Mahabharata, one Gita. But here we are in the 21st century in the association of his master, where each one of us is our saga, our experience is like a Ramayana, like a Mahabharata, like a Gita in its own self. One never imagines the concept of Brahmand. But when we meet Sai devotees, and when we hear the experience of each one of them, you realize that each one's mind is full of the love of Bhagwan, where each mind is a Brahmand of its own. And when millions of people whom Bhagwan has touched come together, you can imagine the vastness of what Bhagwan mentioned as Brahmand. Getting a speaker for Samarpan to speak, I think is a good idea. But I think all speakers realize that the experiences with the physical form that some of us have been blessed to have is really nothing compared to the experiences of the millions whom the Omnipresent touched during his lifetime on the face of this earth. And I say this from experience because as the Vice President of the Sathya Sai organization and now as the All India President, when I travel to different parts of the country and have this blissful experience of meeting my Sevadal in the different corners of the country, I realize that all of us who are like peacocks in the physical form, in the proximity of the physical form, have nothing to be proud about, because what Bhagwan has done to those Sevadal working on the fields is mind-boggling and incomparable to anybody in the world. Let me share immediately an experience which I had in Chennai after the floods happened in Chennai. A small little shanty alongside the river Adyar. And when I went there, I saw that there was tremendous amount of filth. And there were 4 or 5 Sevadal who were with me. And they were accompanying me and telling me that, sir, this was like this, and sir, this was like that, and then. And it was a mixed community of Hindus and Muslims in that area. And after I started going into the shanties deeper and deeper, I saw something particularly very unique. As those 6 or 7 Sevadal were walking with me, and as they were walking, and first I started walking and I saw some smiling faces in front of me. So I had this very strange feeling that probably they are smiling at me because I've gone there as already a president. But very soon my ego was shattered because I realized that they were smiling at the 6 Sevadal who were walking with me all the time. And then they started telling me stories and saying, sir, this happened, that happened. And then in the evening at the function at Sundaram, there was a Muslim lady who was invited to speak from that very shanty where I had gone. And when she opened her expressions and she started expressing what she had feeling, he says, मैंने कभी अल्लाह को नहीं देखा, भगवान को नहीं देखा, मगर जितने ये मेरे सेवादल है, ये मेरे खुदा है, मेरे अल्लाह है. इन्होंने जो हमारे लिए किया है वो तो खुदा भी नहीं करेगा. When I heard this, my hair stood in my hand, मेरे रोंगटे खड़े हो गए. और जब रोंगटे खड़े हो तो मैंने सोचा कि हाँ, भगवान ने कहा था कि एक दिन ऐसा आएगा जब मैं नहीं हूँगा, when I will not be here, but I will give darshan to the world through you, my workers in the Sai organization, through you I will give darshan to people. And I realized the reality has come, brothers and sisters, that the Sathya Sai Sevadal throughout the country are not ordinary people. Because the saga of their sacrifice, the saga of their unconditional love for Bhagwan is a very unique story to tell, because Bhagwan is to always tell us that the first step to self-realization is self-confidence. Self-confidence will lead you to self-satisfaction. Self-satisfaction will lead you to self-sacrifice. And self-sacrifice will lead you to self-realization. Now these Sevadal workers in Chennai, their own houses were in water, but they were out there near the RDR helping the people with other people with that. This kind of sacrifice is just one step lower than self-realization. And therefore these are not Sevadals, these are saints who are born as Sevadal to serve mankind and serve community, is what I really experienced that time. And I realized what the omnipresence of Bhagwan can do. I was in Kerala, and my brother Mukundan was one of the workers, is here. He's one of these Sevadal was telling me a story that the Rath Yatra was going through. And the Rath Yatra, as it was going through, it was the Babri Masjid demolition anniversary, and they decided that we shall shut the sound, we shall shut the music, because we are going through a Muslim village and we don't want to create trouble. So they shut all the sound, the Rath Yatra lights were pushed off and everything, and they were quietly trying to go to that village. And when they were quietly trying to go to the village, suddenly the villagers came out and stopped the Rath. So obviously our people were a little concerned as to what is happening. And then they said, "Kyun band kar diya aapne? फिर से रथ की लाइट चलाइए, फिर से भजन शुरू करिए, ये तो हमारी अल्लाह की सवारी जा रही है, इसको क्यों रोक रहे आप?" So Mukundan's team was all confused, what is happening, what is not happening. So they inquired, what happened, what was the cause of this? Brothers and sisters, the cause was very simple. The unconditional love of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba had treated one Muslim patient of that village in the super specialty hospital free of charge, and they realized that only Allah can do such a situation, nobody can do ever this situation. And this is the master dimension of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. I went to Orissa last week. I was there at the state conference. And as the reports were being read out in front of the All India President, I was sitting and listening to them. Suddenly in the report, one report came of a certain village where some youth had done a fantastic job. And I asked, where is this youth? So he was sitting somewhere right behind, and I said, please call him in front. For me, it was a revelation when that boy came on the stage. He spoke so fluently and so beautifully that, pardon me, even politicians won't speak so beautifully as that young man spoke. And from the heart he spoke. He and his team of young men, inspired by Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, had gone to 11 masjids in that area and cleaned them clean, even picked up the mutton and beef bones and they picked it up. And again they picked it up till those people realized what our boys were doing. And now I understand all those communities sing Sathya Sai bhajans every day, regularly they sing bhajans there. Now this is the power of the omnipresent Sai, and this is what the world is experiencing today. In this magnitude of experiences that Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba is even today giving to human beings as the omnipresent master sitting in the heart of everybody. My brother Gopi has invited me to share experiences on this beautiful day. And my experiences, I am nothing but not even a speck in the entire dimension of the glory of Sathya Sai. But duty is God and duty is worship, and I must say what I have to say. Let me start my saga. My saga with Bhagwan started in 1977, when I was a young man in St. Xavier's College in Mumbai. And for many who know St. Xavier's College in Mumbai, and when I say I was a young man, you can understand what my Swarupa was at that time in Mumbai city. I had lovely long hair, where some of my sisters also can be ashamed of my hair at that time. I mean, I had everything that should not be. And the saga started with a youngest brother of mine joining Bal Vikas. We was coming to the Bal Vikas class in the very building where I was staying. And can you imagine who was the Bal Vikas guru of my brother? It was my wife-to-be in later life, Kamla. But I had no interest in what she was doing. She was a very beautiful young lady, but I never bothered about her because there were many more beautiful young women that time. So I didn't look at her. And the class went on for 2-3 years. He was studying and he would come home with shlokas and stories and bhajans. And we were Jimi Hendrix friends that time. Jimi Hendrix was the pop star that way and he was my favorite. And listening to Jimi Hendrix and this guy comes with Omkaram Bindu Sanyuktam in the house. And you can imagine the clash, okay? So I'm wondering what's wrong with my family, what is going wrong. My mother and he are the only guys saying Sai Ram and I'm wondering what's happening. My father was a very great lawyer. A brother younger to me who looked after Swami for many years after that, Mayur, was a fashion model in Mumbai and he used to be conducting fashion shows and all that. I was a dramatist. I wanted to be an artist. I had filled up my form for the National Film and Television Institute, which I just started that time because I always wanted to become an actor and never be a lawyer in my life. But this happened and Swami entered through Bal Vikas as he always does in everybody's house. He enters through Bal Vikas, very subtly enters. And we are all resisting this. Okay, look, there is hocus pocus, this is hoodoo, let's stay away from this. But Swami has chosen one by one how to catch everybody. So first the youngest brother, then my mother. And lo and behold, I had a British Guyanese neighbor on top. Imagine a British Guyanese lady staying on top. And she was the Bal Vikas in charge of Mumbai city that time. Can you beat it? A British Guyanese lady. And she's trying to convince me because she's a great fan of mine. And she says, Nimish, you must see this. You come, see, experience. I said, Auntie, you must be crazy. Just stay away from me. But that time, the war had started between my father and myself. Father wanted me to become a lawyer and I wanted to become an actor. And this war, this great generation gap had reached its peak in my house. But somewhere down the line, I loved my father. So just to ensure that he's at peace, I used to attend the law college. And in those days in Bombay University, there was a system called AT-KT, allowed to keep terms. That means in a year, if there are 7 subjects, you can pass in 3, fail in 4, again appear in 3, again pass in 4, like that is to go on. So I was merrily going through my life, acting on the stage in St. Xavier's College, and keeping my father happy in the college. So one day it happened that a very close friend of mine, he now lives in the United States, said, Nimish, chalte hain yaar, ek baar chal to dekh to le kya hai? Because he had developed interest, so he wanted company. So he said, chal Nimish, chalte hain. I suddenly had something to read, so I took up my constitutional guide, Constitution of India book, and I took with me, and we went to Whitefield. Consciously trying to keep away from that tree and that statue and the circle there in the center, trying to take the last seat. People try to take the first seat, we are trying to take the last seat, And there Swami comes rolling down. And as he is coming, some palpitation is happening in the heart. The first averseness is slightly changing into kind of a calm, peace. And then there is this desire that I hope he comes in my direction. And lo and behold, he turns right behind where we were sitting because we were like, we had gone there to enjoy. What we used to do moment the darshans to get to take cycle and go to the Joy Ice Cream Factory in Whitefield, have ice cream. Then there was the Bellathur village behind. There used to be a milk dairy, so go and have milk there, cycle and come back and enjoy ourselves and that. But now this time we were caught. Swami came, and God knows what happened. My constitution book in my hand, Swami came close by. He put his hand on my constitution book, looked into me, and suddenly turned his face away like a lover does to his loved one. Looks at him and, oh, come on, forget it, like kind of stuff. And he turned. But something happened to me, and I went in a trance, and I started crying. I started crying like a baby, as if God knows what was coming out of my system. And that transformation happened. And something changed inside me, which I can't explain even today. But something happened, and things changed. That constitution book was all wet with tears. I came back home. And something struck a chord that, no, something seems to be very special here. Now look at that point of time. My middle brother, Mayur, who is a fashion designer and a fashion model, he had got his first class first in first year commerce. Now simultaneously, Bhagwan is working on him. He called him he had a friend close by who was a Baba devotee. He says, Mayur, come, let's go with me. Now Mayur goes to Vrindavan with this boy, with the condition that I will not enter Vrindavan. You go, I will accompany you. At the gate he's standing, Swami is coming. Swami comes all the way up to the gate to him. Something happens to him. And he comes home and decides that despite getting first class first in first year commerce in Bombay, he wanted to join Swami's college, which would not give him admission in first year. He decided to repeat the first year just to join Swami's college. And before that, an episode had happened. By the time I had a soft corner, mother, youngest brother, so there was a picture of Swami. And Mayur had challenged me, took the picture and turned it round. And he says, if you're really God, turn yourself up. And when he came back from Vrindavan, he went to that picture, himself turned it back and said, Dad, I'm going to Vrindavan. I want to study in Swami's college. Now that story happened. And because he was there, the next year my mother and I happened to go to Vrindavan and I got my first interview. It's very unique. My first interview is unique because, as I told you, I was studying in St. Xavier's College. And here the saga as I see now in my life when I look back, how a teacher teaches a student is a saga that I would describe my life as. I had a lot of friends in college because I was attached to theatre and I was attached to music. So all the contemporaries of those time, Kavita Krishnamurti and Pankaj Udhas and Farooq Sheikh, the stars of those days were all my colleagues who all had wanted to go to film and television, but I was the unlucky guy who didn't go there at that point of time. So I had a huge friend circle. And as I enter the interview room, I'm meeting him for the first time. I've never met him. I've never interacted with him. As I enter this room, he closes the door and turns back with red eyes. He says, Kitna friends, oh, kitna friends. All friends useless. Only one friend, he is God, he's touching his chari. All friends useless. Jeb mein paisa hai, to friends. No money, no friends. The brothers and sisters, to leave friends who've been with you for so many years and cut off relationship with them is not an easy task. Only the miracle and the power of God can make you do that. And it happened. I was shocked myself. Moment I come outside of the interview room, I realized that I don't even feel like calling anybody. I don't want to talk to anybody. Because I had sort of convinced myself what Swami said that I am the only friend, and he touched his chest. So I realized here is the physical form who's now my friend and I don't need anybody else. But I had misunderstood that. And I'll tell you why. And the second very strange thing he told me. He said, देखो, तुम्हारी जिंदगी में तुम कुछ प्लानिंग नहीं करना, तुम्हारा सब प्लानिंग मैंने किया है, मेरा प्लानिंग खराब नहीं करना. Now this was for a young man a difficult proposition to understand. What does this mean? What does it mean? I don't know. I mean, no planning means, for a moment I felt very happy. Jaan chuta kuch karne ka nahi zindagi mein. It wasn't like that. I mean, for that moment in the young spirit, it was a different story. Well, I'm free. Here is a friend who's guaranteeing me everything. Why should I worry now in life, But these two instances have a lot of bearing what happened subsequently. Kuch planning nahi karna. And every time I do something, things started going wrong. Moment I try to, planning is a normal phenomenon. I mean, you plan what to wear, what to do, where to go, what not to do. It's so natural to man. But every time I do something, it goes wrong. I came back to Bombay, and all my friends were surprised that I didn't call them for 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, 30 days. They all were wondering what's wrong with this guy, where is he lost? Then the story went that time there was no Facebook and no Twitter, but in the grapevine went, oh, Nimish to Baba ke paas gaya hai, sadhu ho gaya hai. So that was a big shock to the community where I live, like big time guys, and he's become a saint, he's become a sadhu, some jadoo kiya uske upar, abhi wo nahi aata hai. But I didn't realize at that point of time that when he said, I'm your friend, I was not understanding him correctly. Because as it happens, the good days begin. The happy days are there when Swami, you're the form boy, as my college students know. You're the form boy. Everything that you do is perfect. Nothing is wrong. Swami will forgive you, bless you, everything, do what you want. But suddenly, one day, he decides not to talk to me. And when he decides not to talk to me, it's a great shock, like two friends fighting. Nahi baat karta, tum bhi baat nahi karo, main bhi baat nahi karta. Jaane do. You go your way, I go my way. Kind of mood comes in that point of time. I see that happens as a friend. What happens is, theek hai, nahi karne ka to your marji. But something hurts you inside there. Why is he not talking to me? Why is he not looking at me? It happened for a long time. But before that, a few good things happened. Before that, I started studying for law. And I started studying for law. I was not very sure that I will make the exam. And one day my father really took the opportunity of complaining to Swami that Swami, this boy is not studying for law, he's wasting his time. I've got a practice to continue and he's not listening to me. So I told Swami, Swami caught me, strategy again, you know. So that time you're friends with Bhagwan. So friends, how they play strategy. Swami caught me, he says, "Kai ko vakil nahi banta hai." So I realized there is something wrong and this whole conversation is going to trap me. So I said, "Vakil, Swami, kai ko? Nahi, vakil bano." I said, "Nahi, Swami, vakil nahi banne ka. Mere ko actor banne ka. I want to join the Film Television Institute." He said, "Nahi, vakil bano." So I realized there is a persistence happening now and you can't get out of this. So I realized my father has complained to me, you make out, children always make out what strategies parents play, you see. So I also decided that this is the position. So I said, "Nahi, Swami, बहुत boring है, मैं नहीं पढ़ सकता." देखो father इतना बड़ा वकील है, तुम भी वकील बनो. I said, "Nahi, Swami, very boring. I've seen my father, he's a very boring person. Every day he's reading books and all that. It's not the life I want to live." "Nahi, tum bano, it's a good subject." Then I realized I had read that Swami had said that the problem of today's world, 80-90%, the cause is the lawyers of today, and 7 generations back and 7 generations, all will go to hell. This Swami had said sometime. So I used that against Swami, precedent to Bhagwan. "Bhagwan, you said this, you hate me so much that I must become a lawyer and put 7 generations back and front all to hell." He said, "Nahi, tumhara chinta nahi karo, main sambhalta hai." So I realized I'm getting caught. So I went further and said, "Swami, now, how to get out now?" I said, "Swami, बहुत boring subject है, मैं पढ़ता हूँ मगर याद नहीं रहता है." You play tricks with Swami, but you can't succeed. You know what Swami said? "चिंता नहीं करो, तुम पढ़ो, मैं याद करता है." So I said, "God, we are stuck." And then he turned around and told my father, this was somewhere in January, he said, "Don't worry, April में exam है, pass हो जाता है." So I'm wondering what's wrong with this Lord. Does he understand how the university works? I don't have attendance, I don't have a book, and that was the last year with the subject of mine. Speciality was criminology. Now, criminology is such a subject, if you don't study properly, you can't give an exam and pass. And here he's promising my father will become a lawyer. But I'm not unhappy, because I'm trying to say, "Swami, I am going to be the first devotee who is going to prove to the world that all that you say does not become true." Because I can't become a lawyer. You told my father, because I can't become a lawyer. So I'm not unhappy. Exam comes, I have no book, I have no criminology, nothing with me. But by that time, you've loved Bhagwan so much, you've heard him so much. So the exam comes and I go very happily. People get very nervous when they go to exam, my young friends know. But I was very happy, I was not nervous. Because I know I don't know anything and I know I'm going to fail, so it's okay. I go to the examination hall, the paper comes and I don't know anything in the paper. So I'm sitting quietly and closing the paper and I'm telling myself, "Swami, wait till I come, I'm going to prove you wrong." But I felt very ashamed to leave the hall because everybody's just started writing the exam. And if I go first, what happens? I said, 10 minutes ke baad mein jaate hain. So I sat for 10 minutes really gungunaying some song and all that and listening then waiting how everybody's writing so much and really feeling bad for them for writing so much. But after 10 minutes, something happened, brothers and sisters. After 10 minutes, I picked up the question paper again. And as I read it again, there were 8 to 9 questions in that question paper which were relating to why there is an increase in crime amongst children and women, and all the questions were related to that subject. Now, I don't know the law of criminology, but having listened to Swami's discourses, I had read one beautiful discourse that time, and which was that how the Indian society is such a beautiful society, where the unit of society is the family and not the individual. In the family, our sisters are such beautiful people. They are mothers, they are sisters, they are daughters, and they bind the whole family together in such a way that everybody is protected. The elders are protected, the youngers are protected, the ladies are protected, the gents. So it's such a beautiful system that because of this, they are all kept together and there is no danger to the society because the family is a strong bond. I said, wow, this is the answer to all the questions. So I wrote Swami's discourse as an answer to all the questions that were there. What happened? Shame on the Bombay University, I got 72% marks. And now what happened? Suddenly, I have passed, I become a lawyer, which I didn't realize myself. I come to Puttaparthi, an immediate interview. And the first lesson of the law of contract for people who know is that there is a proposal and there is an acceptance. The moment there is a proposal and the proposed acceptance becomes a contract, binding contract. The moment I enter the hall, on the interview room, देखा तुम नहीं पढ़ा फिर भी मैं याद किया. I realized my first law of contract, that the divine always keeps his side of the contract. Whether you keep your side of the contract or not, the divine will always keep his word, never without anything. The first hard realization that came to me, and you won't believe me, brothers and sisters, the first thing that happened was, he said, "Jao, kaam bhejta hai tumko." I said, "Kaam bhejta hai?" I don't know the law, I just got the degree. If somebody asked me a question, I would not know anything. And what happens? I come to Bombay, and a man called Indulal Shah calls me. So I don't know who Indulal Shah is. I mean, nor did I care and nor did I bother who Indulal Shah is. He called me. He said, "Nimish, I'm Indulal Shah." I said, "Yes, sir. What can I do?" "How come you have not told me that you passed?" I said, "Bloody hell." I said, that word actually came from my mouth at that time. "Why should I tell you that I have passed? I don't want to tell you. Who are you?" "No, come to my office." I went to his office and he threw me out. "Get out." "Arey, why?" "Next time don't enter my office unless you have an appointment diary in your hand." So I go buy a diary and go back to his office. Sit down. And he puts a whole bundle of papers in front of me and says, "This is the Joy Ice Cream Factory. We want to sell this factory. The conveyance is to be done by you." And I'm looking at him stark like that, I don't know the sea of conveyance what to do, and you're putting a whole factory in front of me. What's wrong with you? But you won't believe me. That night, Swami came to my dream and he says, "Start." And I finished the conveyance in the first week of passing out and getting my bar council certificate. I finished the conveyance successfully, and I got my first fee, which no lawyer ever gets in the first 2 months of his career as a lawyer. I got my fee of 1,50,000 way back in 1975. All Swami's grace. Because he had said, "Tum karo, main kaam bhejta hai." Then I got so involved in the organization with Indubai, he called me to do a drama. Dekhi Sai Ki Leela was my first drama which I did. Imagine when I look back, I'm seeing his Leela, what he has done to me and what he's doing to the whole world. And Pandurang Dikshit had written that story and he was with me. So I started my career in the Sai organization with two great stalwarts, Pandurang Dikshit and Indulal Shah. I went to his house, I did the drama, we brought it to Puttaparthi, Swami liked it very much. And then the saga of cultural activity started. Now see the grace of Bhagwan, brothers and sisters. My innate desire was to do drama and theatre. And here was my father who wanted me to become a lawyer. And see how Bhagwan brings two streams together. On one hand, he made me a lawyer. On the other hand, he gave me an opportunity to do so many dramas all my life in front of Bhagwan that I had fully satisfied my desire to be a theatric person. And then suddenly, you get that there's a phase in Bhagwan's life with every young person. Vice will bear me out. When you don't want to marry, you want to do everything for Bhagwan, Don't do anything, no marriage, no life, don't get into Maya. Stick to Bhagwan, touch his feet. And Bhagwan keeps on smiling at you. Idiot, wait. There is going to be a time for you also. So what happens? Last time I met Kamala and she was the Bal Vikas in charge. She's grown the excellence. She started a Bal Vikas guru at the age of 17, where Bhagwan used to go to her dream every Wednesday and tell her, do Bal Vikas, do Bal Vikas, do Bal Vikas. And then she became a very successful Bal Vikas guru in Mumbai. And all the elders, ladies, picked her up and made her the in charge in Mumbai city. And then as destiny would have it, we had both to work together for all the cultural items. And that was the moment in Shivaji Park when Bal Thackeray, the Shiv Sena Supremo, was the chief guest and Baba was on the stage. And Kamala was the first speaker. She spoke so beautifully that somewhere in my mind, I must have appreciated what she spoke. In the evening, I came to Dharmakshetra and I had a chance to do Aarti to Bhagwan. And at the end of the Aarti, I also gave a flower and he took the flower and threw it back at me. He said, "Jao, wife ko deo." So I'm looking at him, "Swami, I hope you are God. What are you doing? What are you saying?" I didn't realize this. But 6 months later, he went to my mother and said, "Wife kidhar hai?" So my mother also is shocked. "What do you mean, wife kidhar hai?" He went there and he told him, "Malum hai, Bal Vikas Guru hai." Mother's asking me, "What's wrong with you? Are you going around something?" I said, "No, ma, nothing I'm doing. I have nothing to do with anybody. I'm absolutely straightforward." But Swami picked it up and sowed the seed in my. Because by that time I was very convinced I didn't want to marry. But see how Bhagwan is so tactical and so beautiful in changing the minds of man. And therefore I remember Professor Kasturi, when he said the greatest miracle that Bhagwan performs, which nobody else can perform, is to change the mind of man. And only God can do this and nobody else can do this. There was a drama happening on the stage and Swami had already reached, so I ran behind Dharmakshetra. People who know Dharmakshetra, there's a flight of stairs. I ran on the stairs, went behind. So I was standing behind Swami and Swami is talking to a young boy who's dressed up as a rishi. And I had the dreams of becoming a rishi. So Swami looked at the rishi and said, hey, tumhara wife kidhar hai? So the little kid, what will he answer? Wife kidhar hai? You know? Hey, bolo, tumhara wife kidhar hai? Nahi malum. Ye sannyasi dekho, wife mangta hai, and I'm standing behind, you know. I said, what? What is happening, you know? Now see the trick that God plays. See the Leela, see the Krishna. Now I didn't want to marry. He sows the seed in my mind to marry. He creates an attraction to this girl who is there. And when I make up my mind that now I want to marry, you know what he does? He starts his tricks. He goes to my, see now I'm a Gujarati and my wife is a Sindhi. Now this combination is a very dangerous combination. Because in Gujarati it is said that if you meet a Sindhi and a snake, kill the Sindhi, save the snake. And for Gujaratis we are low caste. Ek Gujarati, isse kya shadi karne? Now this combination, and Swami starts his Leela. Swami starts, he says, he goes to my mother, kya Sindhi ladki hai, kitna makeup karti hai. Tum socho, tum bolega to karta hai. And my mother says, dekho Swami, mere se trick nahi karna. Main kuch nahi janti, tumko jo karna hai karo. Now this is going on. And he's going to Kamla and telling her, देखो तुम चुप रहो, तुम कुछ नहीं बोलना, मैं शादी कराता है तुम्हारा. वो Bombay boy के साथ कराता है. Now Kamla is more confused. There are so many boys in Bombay. So this drama went on and on and on for some time. Became a whole year. Now see, work is involving us. The whole community now knows that, look, these guys are going to get married and here Swami is not giving a date to get married. It became very embarrassing. To such an extent that one day my mother-in-law called me. See, next time, don't come to my house. Get out from my house now. I said, Ma, okay, I won't come back. Don't worry, I'll stay away. And this story went on. She's a Sindhi. Don't get married. She does makeup and Kamla never uses makeup. Kamla has till today, in 36 years that I have known her, never even touched a lipstick in her life. She never does. No, she has no fondness of makeup at all. But Swami saying, makeup karti hai. Sindhi hai, non-veg khata hai. Tumhare ghar mein kaise chalega? Hamare ghar mein aisa nahi chalta hai. You know, he suddenly becomes your team. And he goes there and becomes his team, you know. So this Krishna thing went on and on for too long. And we are thoroughly confused and exhausted. Till one day, he went and told Kamla, देखो उसका mind fixed नहीं है, बहुत मेहनत करना पड़ता है उसका mind को steady बनाने के लिए, अभी steady है. So Kamla is waiting for the date, nothing is happening. And one day, Dr. Fani Banda, many of you must have heard of him, who wrote The Vision of the Divine. Swami called Dr. Fani Banda and said, okay, call them, I'll get them married. So the marriage, there's a little saga before that. The marriage was performed in Prashant Nilayam in the Puttaparthi interview room. And there also I had my tricks. My monkey mind had not stopped. So I was never believing that Swami can really materialize anything even at that point of time. Because by the time I had become a lawyer and the legal acumen had started, so I'm sure Swami is hiding something somewhere. I'm sure he's hiding, you know. So it's okay. So Swami took me in front of me and put his hands up in the marriage after saying all the shlokas and all that. He said, Baitho idhar. He put his hand up and materialized the whole Mangal Sutra and hit it on my head. Take. You don't believe me? Here is the proof. I said, okay, theek hai. I put the Mangal Sutra. Then he materialized a ring. A very ordinary ring he materialized. I was not impressed at all in my mind. I said, not good. He put it in my finger and it won't fit me. I said, here is a chance. Swami, this is not the ring. You picked up a wrong ring from somewhere. This one is definitely sure. So I'm saying all this in my mind. I'm sure Swami is listening. And I'm sitting there, Swami suddenly turns around and says, Acha, nahi baithta hai? Deo. When he materialized, it was a small white stone. But brothers and sisters, in front of me, in front of my two eyes, to the limit that I'll go wonky with my eyes, he brought the ring so close to me. It was a single ring with a single diamond. He bent it like this in front of me, blew, and that one diamond became two huge solitaires it became, and the ring fitted exactly in my hand. And he looked at me, Dekha, Goldsmith भी ऐसा नहीं कर सकता है. You know, the joy, it doesn't last too long. Happiness and sorrow must come together, and Swami teaches it so beautifully. Moment he puts it into me, brothers and sisters, it was such a beautiful ring that I remember for the days that I wore it and it lasted with me. Even when I used to argue my matters in the High Court, the judges used to stop me and ask me, Mr. Pandya, what are you wearing in your hand? You know, this used to happen in the High Court. In the running court, the judge used to ask me, what are you wearing in your hand? You know what Swami had done? Moment he put it in my hand, he told me, बहुत महंगा है, तुम इसको जरूर गंवा देगा. You will lose this ring very soon. So I'm telling Swami, why should I lose? I'm not an idiot. Such a beautiful ring. Why should I lose it? Brothers and sisters, I was traveling to United States for a Sai function, and on Changi Airport, I went to the washroom and I forgot the ring there. In 1 second, when I come out, the ring is gone. See, the master knows everything. Kuch planning nahi karo. But what was the purpose? Now I realize that diamond, why should you worry about a diamond? Mind and realize that what a beautiful diamond you are. And that lesson I learned there, that things in life will never last. They will go. However beautiful they may be, they will never last, but they will go. And then came a moment which I never understood till today. In fact, till just 2-3 years ago, I never understood the import of that incident that happened in my life. The omnipresence of it was amazing. He shocked me with the omnipresence. You see, Bhagavan is so close to you and so much with your breath every moment that nothing is hidden from him. Kamala and I went to Goa for a honeymoon after 1 year. This is interesting. This is very interesting. We went to our honeymoon after 1 year. So obviously when you go to Goa, you go to the sea. You have to go and swim. You can't come back from Goa without swimming in the sea. And you can't go swimming with all your suit wearing and salwar kameez. So you wear the appropriate clothes to go and swim in the water and come back. When I came back, reached Puttaparthi, because by that time my parents had shifted. Swami had visited our home in Kolaba and asked my father to shift to Prashanthi Nilayam and teach there. So mother and father had shifted there. 2 brothers had already started studying in Puttaparthi by that time. And Kamala and I were in Bombay carrying the story further. Moment I come to Puttaparthi, interview. People came running. Swami is calling. Inside I go, my mother and father are sitting. And what happens inside? The whole video film of Goa starts. What flight? When did it land? Where did you go? The Taj Aguada, this cottage was facing like this. At the entrance there was this. You went inside. The bag you kept here. You spoke like this. You ordered the first cup of tea. You ordered this breakfast. You know, like I'm looking at him. What is this? Some replay of some video. When did this happen? But then it didn't end there. It went there. क्या कपड़ा पहना? समंदर में गया swimming करने को. अच्छा लगता है? ऐसा नहीं अच्छा लगता. Swami का messenger है, husband, wife. You must always be careful. People will look at you and tell you what the world of Swami is. First lesson of things to come in future and what was to be behaved. He went to such an extent and became so intimate of my bedroom, I had to jump at his feet and say, Swami, band karo, mera mother, father baitha hai, abhi kya baat karta hai? You know what are you talking? Dekha, Swami is inside you, outside you, above you. And I was shell-shocked. And after that, whatever happened, brothers and sisters, I never ever forget that Swami is always with you, whatever you say and whatever you do. Then the saga came of friendship. From Prashanthi Nilayam, Indulal Shah and Sarla Ben were going to Rameshwaram. So after the function, there was some conference had just finished. So Indubai asked me, Nimish, I'm going to Rameshwaram. You want to come with me? I said, yes, uncle, I'll come with you. Let's go. Now, moment Kamla and I left with Indulal Shah and Sarla Ben to go to Rameshwaram, Swami comes out on the portico after we leave Puttaparthi and tells my father, Kidhar gaya son? So my father, like a proud peacock, Swami, Indubai ke saath mein Rameshwaram gaya hai. Least realizing that the next what is to follow is going to ruin my life for the next 3 years. क्यों गया उधर? उधर क्या है जो इधर नहीं है? Why did he go there? Now imagine. I didn't go for a party. I didn't go to a club. I didn't go to a disco. I went to Rameshwaram and that also with Indulal Shah. I got lambasted left, right and center for that. Swami didn't speak to me for 3 years. And I'm wondering what is wrong. Rameshwaram I went and you don't look at me. Why would you not? I mean, what is wrong in going to Rameshwaram? So I started hating Rama also. Rameshwaram must be bad. Why did I go there? But after 3 years, it was in Vrindavan. Some compassion must have happened. Kamala was not well by that time. and she needed some help and she was praying desperately. And Swami called us for an interview. I don't know how many of you have seen that old Rajesh Khanna movie called Amar Prem, where Rajesh Khanna speaks very slowly in a drool, Pushpa, like a kind of stuff So here Bhagwan in typical Rajesh Khanna style, closing. As I entered, he closed the door like that, the latch up, and then typical Rajesh Khanna style, look back like that. Kyun? Gaya tha na Sarla Amma ke saath Rameshwaram. After 3 years, the same dialogue picked up again, So I said, Swami, maaf karo, but what was wrong? Why are you so upset when I went to Rameshwaram? He said, no. There is only one God, and He is inside you. When you say so, believe it, practice it, and follow that situation completely. And I got my first lesson that when He said that I am your friend, He did not mean the physical form. When He said, He meant that the God which is inside you is your real friend. And that's where the story begins, brothers and sisters, that the real Sathya Sai is not outside. The real Sathya Sai is inside. And what we need to do is to follow His conscience, voice of conscience all the time. It's very important that we take that situation. Warn me when I have to finish. Okay. Let me tell you a good story now. Let me cross over from me to my father. The spiritual dimension of knowing that God is inside you is an amazing saga. One day my father was sitting on the portico and Swami came and asked him, Hey Pandya, kya chahiye? And Swami, my father didn't need anything. He was a very happy, solid man. Swami said, Moksha chahiye. Acha, moksha chahiye, chalo andar chalo, mere saath chalo. Moksha deta hai. So my father went inside. Now my father is a very intelligent man. He's got a fantastic memory. He can tell you what he had for lunch in 1926. That kind of memory. So Swami called him inside and says, Kya hai? Tumhara naam kya hai? He says, Gulab Rai. Father ka naam kya hai? Atmaram. Wife ka naam kya hai? Nirmala. Son ka naam kya hai? Now this, like a Serena Williams match going on, the repartee and the rally went on between Swami, 100 questions, 100 answers, 200 questions, 200 answers, 300 questions, 300. It kept on and on and on. Then suddenly Swami got up from the chair. Are, itna yaad hai to kaisa moksha milega? And brothers and sisters, what a lesson to learn. The present is omnipresent. Live in the present. Don't carry the baggage of the past with you. Enjoy today's moment. Be with Swami today and see what a life is a beautiful thing. But that's exactly what we don't want to do. We're carrying so much luggage of the past. We're carrying so much. And then Swami told my father, forget all the good that you have done to others immediately. Forget all the harm that others have done to you immediately. That makes the present so beautiful and free without any culture. Enjoy the present, and then life goes on so beautiful. But after you learned all the lessons, the master still doesn't leave you. And I'll say the last experience, and I'll wind up just now. Even at the cost of losing my flight, but I think now I have to say, okay. Learning with Swami and Swami's avatarhood is only for transformation of each one of us. And we have to learn from these experiences and transform and be the change that he wants us to change with. All these years happened and I sort of developed a good rapport with Bhagwan. And we get a spiritual ego. And I tell you, brothers and sisters, the spiritual ego is the worst ego. You can go right up to 98 in the snakes and ladders game, but the 99 pulls you down immediately if you're not alert. And that's a very difficult path to follow as far as the divine experience is concerned. And you have to learn 100%. You can't learn 99%. And how practice in sadhana is so important is a lesson that I want to share with you. I used to do these dramas, and a friend of mine from Los Angeles challenged me. He said, Nimish, you think you do good dramas? I'm giving you a book called Tripura Rahasya. And that book of Tripura Rahasya is the highest treaty in spirituality. Do a drama on this. So I picked up the book, I read the book, and I realized that the essence is so beautiful, the theme is so fantastic, let's do it. I picked up tiny thoughts and started telling them stories from that book, and they all got ready. The essence of that whole story, brothers and sisters, is that the only barrier between man and God is a sense of doership. I did it. And that's the only thing that stops you from merging with Bhagwan. So we did this drama, the essence of which is the sense of doership. The children have learnt it very beautifully. The drama is done, everything is done. And the drama ends and Swami is so happy that he calls me on the stage and makes me sit next to him on the chair, on the portico in the Cyclone Hall. Now this is a very heady moment, brothers and sisters. When the hall is filled with 5, 7,000, 15,000 people and Swami calls you in front of everybody and makes you sit next to him, you are the king. You are like in the glory of the pinnacle of what can be like getting a Filmfare award or getting a screen award or something. You're sitting there next to Swami. The whole world is in awe of you. The whole world is looking, oh, what a great guy this Nimish Pandya is. But what Swami is doing? The teaching is going on. Sits there and tells me, बहुत अच्छा drama. So I'm feeling nice and proud. किसने किया? I said, हाँ, Swami, all Bombay Bal Vikas gurus and Bombay teachers. अच्छा, very good. After a few seconds, बहुत अच्छा drama. Swami very happy, chala santosham. किसने किया? So again I'm saying, Swami, Bal Vikas gurus, children, all the team in Bombay is very good and all that. After 30 seconds again, बहुत अच्छा drama. किसने किया? Now see the idiot in me. What the theme of the drama is, the master is asking me something and I'm still saying, we've done. The fourth time he asked me and before I could answer, he signaled the boy behind to take the chair away. The bhajan is going on, Aarti also is not complete. The chair moved and I am looking daft like, what happened? Suddenly the love story ended, kind of story. See, he moves and goes that side and it strikes me, oh my God, Swami is asking me who did it. I should have said, Swami, you did it, and it didn't strike me to say this. I ran after the chair, I touched his feet, Swami, you did it. I failed the test, I failed the exam, you see. And that time Indula Shah saved me and looked at Swami. Swami, abhi ho sikh gaya, abhi zindagi mein kabhi nahi bhulega ki ye kya hua hai. And I learnt my lesson, brothers and sisters, that living with God requires practice. Only knowledge will never help you at any point of time unless you have practiced the teachings of Bhagwan, Sri Sathya Sai Baba, on a daily practice. Because without practice, the spontaneity won't come, that experience won't come, that you and I are one, that you are the doer and not the doer. And this is the only thing to learn morning to night, brothers and sisters, as I have learned at the Divine Lotus feet, that the only path to follow is dedicate and surrender everything at the Divine Lotus feet of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, because that is spirituality that I have learned. And if there is only friend, there is one, and he is God, and he is inside you, and this friend does not live anywhere outside, but in the heart of each one of us, and that is what we need to believe and practice in day-to-day life. My only feeling is that let's not get distracted by anything in the world. Even going to Rameshwaram was not tolerated by this master. Why? Because he wanted us to practice that he is inside us. He didn't want the crutches that are available. You can go everywhere to get inspired, but you must believe that God is inside you and not the statues that you see outside. Was the lesson that I think I learned, and I pray to him that he gives me the strength to continue to practice that, because without practice it doesn't help. My brother introduced me as a prolific speaker, and I got many chances to speak in front of Bhagwan. And many people clapped at the end of the talks, but I realized what happens to me when I was going to touch Swami's feet. Swami used to only say, baat karta hai, practice nahi karta hai. And that was the divine revelation. I pray to Bhagwan on behalf of everyone here, that Bhagwan gives us the strength to practice, to be firm in our faith, and to believe that Swami is inside us and not outside us. That he speaks to us every moment from inside. And our sadhana is nothing but to listen to Swami from inside and put his promptings into action. And that is the only spirituality that the Master came to teach us. We never even had the guts to tell anything to Bhagwan in the physical form. Did you ever imagine telling Bhagwan shut up in the physical form? Can you ever, Vaisi? Did anybody have the guts to tell Bhagwan shut up? But the same Bhagwan, when he speaks from inside our heart, every day, every moment we tell him shut up, because we cannot control our mind and we never listen to him from the heart. And that is the reality and the weakness that all of us have. And we still want the divine grace. And he gives it to us despite all our failures. Imagine how happy he will be if you listen to him from inside and put every moment into practice. Jai Sai Ram, thank you very much on this auspicious occasion. I am indeed grateful to Bhagwan and all of you for this patient hearing. And I hope I made some sense to you.